Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I want to talk a little bit in this video about the battery event hosted by US Capital Global. Before I get into that, there was a little bit of news coverage from ABC 7, and it's nothing new, but every little bit helps. So we can watch this little quick quote from them.
The world's first self-charging solar car is being showcased right here in San Francisco. This hybrid car is made by Aptera Motors. It runs on both solar power but can also be charged with electricity. The company says it can go up to 40 miles per day when running only on solar and up to 1,000 miles on a single electric charge.
Aptera is going to be coming out Q2 next year, so we're really excited. That's why we're up here in San Francisco for this first time to drum up some buzz for the launch next year. So you're going to start seeing these all over the place in Q2. We already have 48,000 reservations so far, so over 500 of those are in San Francisco alone.
Aptera Motors is trying to get funding to create a mass production facility down in Carlsbad. The vehicle is expected to cost around $35,000. Expected, though, is the key word there. That's much more affordable than the average EV. And we were talking about this earlier, looking at Kelley Blue Book. They say the average EV car cost is around $56,000. So compared to 35, that seems like a good deal. But to your point, there's add-ons.
Yeah, there are add-ons. I looked online to see how much it would be, and the $35,000 is for about a 400-mile range, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Two-seater. Yeah.
Yes, two-seater. Bye, kids.
Okay, so obviously nothing new for us in that thing, but it gets some coverage to the local news program. And you saw in the video how crowded and how well attended the neon event is. But I want to talk about the battery event. So the battery event was obviously held at the Battery, which is basically a private club. And one of our community members was an attendee at this event and gave us some information that I could pass on to you. Nothing real specific, but basically this is the upper part of the fourth floor of the Battery right there that we just saw, and that's where the main event was. It was essentially a cocktail party, and he thinks that about 200 people attended. The Gamma was down on the ground level in the courtyard, but the free food and the drinks and the cocktail party was up on the rooftop terrace, and it was mostly fund managers and people that own, like, they work for family offices and things like that. And it seems like US Capital Global hosts an event at the Battery fairly regularly, maybe even on a monthly basis. And they basically, every time they have an event, it's a different client. This time the client was Aptera Motors. What he ran into, again, this is the courtyard where the event was held. He ran into a lot of CEOs of other companies that are clients of US Global, and they were there mainly to talk to their investors, because these investors are investing in the other clients of US Capital Global. And he heard a lot of talk from people about investing millions of dollars into Aptera if they would do this or if they would do that. But a lot of it was probably like a lot of chest thumping and maybe bragging, because they're just trying to flex on how much money they have to invest, and they're just talking to each other. So we don't know how that event went, if there were any people that actually converted millions of dollars into the US Capital convertible note offering. Now the note offering is for 60 million, but they feel like the terms are very good for Aptera. So Aptera is willing to let it continue and oversell the convertible note and take up to $100 million if they can get that much. Now, we know from the recent SEC filing, which I didn't really go over because there's not that much interesting, but there was a little blurb in there that said that the U.S. Capital offering had sold about $200,000 out of the possible 60 million. That was very early on, and I think that the rules are that they have to put in that SEC filing as soon as they have any takers on that. So that was probably the first person. That was probably one person that put in $200,000, and then they had to file. We have no idea where they're at this point. We don't know if they're at $200,000, if they're at 5 million, if they're at 10 million, or if they're at 60 million. Who knows? But they're willing to let it continue for a while. And then you remember they had Steve Fambro put out a while ago that they were waiting for a team from CPC to come help them put it together. What it is Aptera doesn't have the expertise to put it together at this point. So CPC is sending a group of their fabricators that make custom race cars, and they are going to help build the prototypes and kind of teach them how to do it. And so that's what's happening right now. We're basically towards the end of September. At this point, I'm not sure where they're at with PI2. If PI2 is mostly built or if it's going to get pushed into October. I hope not. But it sounds like the roll cage had just recently arrived. So they're still waiting on some parts. I think once they get all the parts together, it shouldn't take a whole lot of time to put it together. But I guess we'll find out in the September update where they're at. It was supposed to happen in August. They pushed it into September, and I thought they had a good chance of putting it together in September, but maybe it's going to get pushed back into October. And as you know, this is just the way things go. There's a lot of unpredictability in the thing, and if one supplier does not come through, the whole thing grinds to a halt. Hopefully, I haven't heard where they're at, but last I heard, the CPC group is in San Diego. They are helping put it together, and the reason they delayed a little bit is because they were waiting for the roll cage and stuff. Okay, so that's kind of the update from the battery event. The battery event seems like it was pretty well attended, 200 people or so, but it's hard to gauge how many of those people were there for Aptera or how many people are there just because that's something that US Capital does kind of regularly. A lot of the people there were, again, CEOs of other companies that are clients of US Capital, and they were completely unaware of Aptera. And they're not investors either. They are CEOs of startups. They're looking for money as well. And they were there just basically to talk to their investors and probably try to find new investors for themselves. And but it does show you that US Capital has this kind of portfolio and has a group of investors that they can kind of promote places, companies to. And so that's what they're doing for Aptera. Hopefully it's going well, and we'll hear about it soon. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.